Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Rough Draft of Randomness podcast, 2025 edition. We back. Wait, we back? Yes, we were a thing before, and then we had a pause, and now we back. You didn't even know I was a thing? Well, now you know I'm a thing. Who am I? I am the DMan, your wonderful, mysteriously magical host for this journey. What journey? Well, we are journeying. We are taking a journey through 300 to 400 mystery comics. There's some dupes, so that's why I say between 300 to 400. But basically, I opened up 4 mystery boxes containing 100 comic books each. And now I've challenged myself to read them and report back to you, my faithful viewers. Like and subscribe so you could hear all about all 300 to 400 mystery comic books. And do you want to see what those comic books are? Do you want to watch the excitement as we opened those mystery boxes? We, as in me,
and Venom.
No. Although
Venom is always a part of me, as I hope he's always a part of you. Welcome to the randomness for all you new viewers out there.
But we opened up mystery comic boxes, me and my son. And then, of course, by the about 4th box, we started fighting over who was going to keep those comics. The first box was very simple. I had him very convinced. Everything we open just goes into the short box, and then I'll hold the short box and keep it secure. And then he started to want a stake claim. Let's just say chaos ensued. Watch those videos for some fun. Oh, we found some very fun covers, like one Betty Page that had her in a bikini issue, showing off her booty. So we found some booty. Check those out. Also got short of just that clip if you want to hear and see just that one. So, I'm taking these headphones off because I think at this point my microphone has died on me. It's making humming noises, it's driving me insane when you have dog-like hearing like myself. I say dog-like hearing like myself because my wife, who is an animal dog trainer, I say animal, she does a little bit of everything. She has an electric dog whistle that I could hear. Nobody else can. It's a terrible curse and a blessing to have very good hearing and talking to a microphone that doesn't even work. So I'm going to move this out of my way because it's bulky. So riddle me this. Who has a podcast about random comic books that nobody cares about? Me. Why? Because, well, why not? I needed an idea. Well, I wanted to do podcasts because I love podcasts. I am the DMan. And that fedora is getting hot. So what mystery comics are we going to talk about today? Let's get into it already. Well, the mystery comic book boxes, there was 3 different themed comic boxes. There was Marvel themed, there was DC themed, and then there was an independent hodgepodge box. So let's start off with the hodgepodge box. So these comics, like I said, I'm back, 2025, blah, blah, blah. Call it season 3 of the Rough Draft of Randomness. First season was audio only on Comic-Con Radio Network. You can check me out on that one. I'm eventually going to make videos of the first season and put them on my YouTube channel here that you'll be able to see at some point in time. Whatever, I got kids. YouTube isn't my highest priority, but this podcast is a passion project of mine. So if you enjoy passionate projects like comic books, reading them, and sharing your love, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the DMs, hit the comments. Don't hit the DMs. I ain't like to look at my DMs. Get out of here, weirdo. I'm going to put this hat back on, though, so you don't have to keep staring at my bald spot. Oh, wait. All of it's a bald spot now. 39, already bald. I've been bald for way longer than... Actually, I was balder than for shorter than I should have been. I held onto my hair for a little bit too long. Sometimes you gotta learn when to say bye. Random. I haven't podcasted in a minute. I'm back at it. I'm having so much fun rambling to myself. I'm trying not to get frustrated with the fact that the microphone's not working and that every time I touch this table, the camera shakes. So I apologize for that. Little Red Ronin. I read these a few times is what I was about to try to say because I wanted to record this episode. These were the next 3 that I'd read. I would already be ready to record. It's just timing to record at a quiet spot in a household full of everybody. So Little Red Ronin, book 3. This one was a fun one. It's basically a brutal version of brutal telling of Little Red Riding Hood. So the Little Red Ronin girl, basically Little Red Riding Hood, essentially, she's going around trying to find her grandma because she was off in the woods, I guess, with her friends, and she saw the big bad wolf, or the ancient evil wolf. Then it goes, the grandma's actually there at home, but turns out grandma wasn't grandma was the big bad wolf in the skin of the grandma because he'd already killed the grandma months ago. And he goes, you should have visited your grandma sooner. He goes to try to attack. And then it flashes back to the little girl and her grandma telling her stories of the, big bad wolf and ancient, mythology like that. And that not to be worried about the evil wolf coming to get us because I have a secret weapon, and points to a sword that's like above the mantelpiece. So cut back to modern time where the wolf's about to attack. The Little Red Ronin goes, grabs the swords, and has a nice brutal attack with the wolf, and then in turn slays the big bad wolf, and to prove to everybody that she wasn't lying or wrong or just some idiot kid, brutal picture coming up. Ooh. She took the head and tossed it to the butcher. I'm trying to get to that giant head part. Yeah, so she's dragging the head along and basically points out that she slayed the beast. And then basically tells her dad, I gotta go, because this book full of mythical stories that grandma used to tell me, Basan is what she called her. If it's actually real and all these stories are real, like our big bad wolf, then I have to go and I have to slay them. I have now protected you. There is no beast here attacking this town. I have to go protect other towns. And then her little friend's like, oh, I'm going to miss you. Oh, you're not coming with me? No, but send me postcards. And then the next story was going to be Giant Killer Jack. So that might have been an interesting storyline. Little Red Ronin, actually, it was quite enjoyable. I wasn't sure what I was going to expect because it's independent. It's different. It's, not the Marvel, not the Spidey. It's who would have thought that? But super cool telling and brutal telling of Little Red Riding Hood. Actually might follow that one at some point in time once I'm done with the 300 to 400 mystery comics. Now, without getting bit by Venom. Yes, I am one of those nerddom persons who got the popcorn bucket from Venom, The Last Dance. I only got one of them, though. I didn't get all 3 like some people did and go online, whatever. And that one I actually did get at the movie theaters. I did go opening night. And I did actually watch the movie. So, from the DC box. I don't know why I struggle to think of box. I was also trying to think of the next 14 sentences I'm going to say, because again, podcasting for a minute, haven't been doing that. And I also got sidetracked by the cool James Bond ad in the backup. So, if you actually flip and switch back, random tangent, switch and watch any of the episodes of us unboxing these mystery comics, I started to get very frustrated. Patience started to wear thin as the 6-year-old wanted to show every single back of the comic book for every single comic. And one of our first videos, it was 40 minutes because legitimately wanted to show every back. I mean, some of the backs on comics are cool. Some of it's fun, nostalgic, this old James Bond thing, sure. Some of it is just a milk ad. And it's the same milk ad or the same watch ad that we've already seen on 5 other comics. Tested my patience. And I had to edit a couple things out of that film. But I actually embraced it towards the end, and actually in one of the later videos of the unboxing is we actually flipped it together, and I encouraged him to show the back because there was, like I say, there are some cool backs. And of course I tried to teach him about wraparound covers and things like that. it's great sharing the hobby with the little ones and the teenage ones. I do have a 13-year-old as well. Shout out Riley. So, Green Lantern. Another back to the task at hand, which is talking about these mystery comic books. So we got Green Lantern, The Inheritance. So talking about son, whatnot, is actually interesting and apropos to the story here. It's a very tragic, actually, tale of Green Lanterns. So it starts off with, I guess, the main Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, is kind of being like held trial for something. Not sure. Again, so these are random books, so this is just, issue 170 of Green Lantern. So I have no idea what happened in 169. I have no clue what's going to happen in 171. But it has this one chick basically saying, I don't want to be a Green Lantern anymore because of all the harassment you're doing to Hal. And I don't get it. You're basically running through all these circles to the Lantern Tribune. And they go, well, before you decide that, here, take a look at this memory gem thing. Reflective stone, and look at the story within. And then it continues to tell us the story within, where I gotta look at the names of the people because it's a weird M name. Basically, it's about this lantern who, while he was away at the Lantern Tribune, the leaders of the Lantern Corp, whatever. I'm Marvel guy, sorry, DC people. I know you guys are freaking trying to hate me in the comments, please. Give me hate in the comments, sure. It helps the algorithm, yo. It's all about that algo. But he was off trying to get approval to pass along his Green Lantern ring to his son. Monak is his name, this lantern here. And while he's on his way back, he was super excited because he's like, yay, they approved it. I'm going to be able to hand this down to my son. And then he sees, oh, what's going on? They're attacking my planet. And so this world is basically invading. It's a Zanang. Zanang? Ugh, yeah, see, I love it. One thing I have noticed doing this whole podcast is 70s and 80s comics had a lot more text and were a lot more dense, a lot more reading. So that's why sometimes I struggle when, and like I said, I've read these a few times. This time though, I didn't read them immediately before recording. I'm like, I've done it enough times. I've read it enough times. If I read again, I'm going to waste too much time and I'm not going to record this. And I'm just powering through. I got mic issues. Who needs a mic? I'm using the camera mic, so hopefully this is going to be good enough audio. I'll layer it to probably make it more fuller, more full. So he comes down, as he sees us going, he actually starts attacking the spaceship, which they weren't expecting, because they were expecting him to be on the planet, because they were trying to draw him out by attacking, the villagers. They basically thought he was the only threat that they could stop their race, the Nang race, from basically dominating the galaxy. So they get attacked. He starts attacking the ship, but then he's like, I'm going to use up too much power in here. I'm not going to have time to recharge. So he gets down on Earth, and he gets distracted by them attacking his home, which is exactly what they wanted. He gets blasted. Boom. And he's fatally wounded. His son gets to him, and he's like, this is the way I wanted to go, but here, and hands him the ring. So now his son is the ring. Now his son is a very inexperienced lantern. The ring is very powerful. I say the ring as the ring lights up my glasses. I don't know if that's interesting or distracting to you guys. It's kind of partially distracting to me, but hey, squirrel, randomness. That's what we're here for. The Rough Draft of Randomness podcast. Now the sun is very powerful. And I'm going to keep this announcer voice for no longer, because that's really annoying. Sorry.
Now get to the point.
So the sun is very powerful. He's pissed off. These people just killed his father. Blasted his planet. He goes to try to fight these battle bots things, because it's basically just a bunch of mindless robots. They don't want to attack him. They don't see him as a threat, because they were only programmed to kill the MODOK version of Green Lantern. They're unaware of this Green Lantern. They don't even recognize it. They're just flying away, walking away, ignoring him. That pisses him off even more. How dare you walk away from me? And then he starts trying to hit him with all his Green Lantern, hammers. he then grabs an asteroid, is going to go redirect it to hit it into the ship. That's when the corp people were like, pop up. And he's like, I figured you guys pop up soon. Like, it's not too late to correct your course, but you're doing the wrong thing here. You don't realize that there's also innocent people on that ship too. They're not all just evil on that planet. And he's like, oh no, I did a terrible thing. So he goes and actually diverts the asteroid from hitting the planet. He attacks the ship, then he also follows to attack the planet. There's a little bit of both. Momentum, continuity, memento, there's a random movie there where the post-it notes go over here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here. Consider this podcast the Quentin Tarantino explanation of the comic books. Bam! That would have been a stellar line if I nailed it. Fumble at the end.
Now, what happens next?
So what happens? He stops it. He diverts it. Uses all his energy to divert it. But then he also gets hit. Blasted. There's 3 veteran Green Lanterns that have been sent by the Corp to go help and protect and assist. And they see him drifting off into space, they get to him fast. Try to. But unfortunately, they were out of time. They weren't there in time. And he died. So the ring then floats off. And it goes down to Zang, the planet there, with the evil leader who's trying to take over the world, galaxy, whatnot. Oh, there he is. They can't stop the Zang. Oh, Korhalhem. That guy is the leader of the Zang. But the ring finds its way to a new host who's actually a prisoner in a castle in the Zang there. And he will have the power now to finally resist the Korhalem and his crew and basically rise up a rebellion. Oh, and also fun fact that I don't know how many of you guys are like longtime collectors, big collectors, just like comic books, just like random nerdy boys like me. That was weird. Random nerds like me. But nowadays variants are variants. Variants are basically, it's one issue and then there's 5 different covers of it, or 15 or 20, or there's this one you can only get on this one website versus that's the modern variants. There's newer variants the old variants used to be newsstand or basically direct mail. Newsstand has the barcode. Direct mail had like either the barcode line slashed out or like the picture here or something like that. I've actually recently kind of learned about the Mark Jeweler whole thing, where apparently there was inserts and ads inserted in certain books or copies of books, and that would be the Mark Jeweler ads. And these were apparently more limited runs. Mark Jeweler, see right there? Because they were, I guess, sent to military bases. So these were one of the early variants that were not necessarily just newsstand or direct mail, but the Mark Jeweler as well. So this is actually a really cool pickup in our random mystery box to also get a Mark Jeweler copy of a book. It's pretty neat. Since learning about it, I haven't bothered going through my massive collection of, I have roughly like 2,000 comics in my collection. It's kind of ridiculous. I only know I have about 2,000 because I've only recently actually cataloged them. I'm getting tongue-tied. I need to podcast more. Podcast. Right?
Right.
So, as I go...
Right. And I get my Venom voice going.
It's only appropriate. The Spidey is our next guy. Oh. So, this one's I love this one a lot. This one was a great one. Because this one is also back in the Clonage days. This, I talked earlier about wraparound covers. And look at that. It's like I planned it. But I didn't. It's all random. This is off the top of the dome. This is freestyle podcasting up in this beat. All right. But this is maximum clonage. This is the Omega. This is number 1. This was the end of the storyline. So this had a lot. This is the Clone Saga in the 90s, and this is what I grew up on. I grew up on the Clone Saga. I grew up on the Spidey cartoon here. The introduction of Venom. I'm an 85 baby. I'm a 90s kid. The Clone Saga was awesome. So this has Ben Reilly, Peter Parker, confronting the Jackal on his plan, who he's going to basically, his plan is to clone all the news anchors with his Jackal clones, and then that way he control all the news and basically make the masses not realize that he's slowly but surely changing everybody out with Jackal clones, and they're all going to basically follow his lead, and by controlling the news, they won't be aware of the mischief that he's doing. Now, Jackal is the one who actually created the clones, I believe. And so he created a Gwen Stacy clone, who is also in this. The Ben Reilly clone, Peter Parker. Clone of Peter Parker. Ben Reilly is a clone of Peter Parker if you're completely unaware of the Clone Saga. Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, is a clone of Peter Parker. Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider, I believe, has now gone on to a different character. I think it's Chasm or something to that effect. Not 100%. I know he just recently did a new thing. I don't know. I can only keep up with so many storylines. However, another fun twist that was revealed is that Ben Reilly is actually the real Peter Parker. So Peter Parker has lived for like 2 years thinking he was this clone Ben Reilly, and the clone Ben Reilly has thought he's been Peter Parker this whole time. So now Peter Parker is dealing with this whole... Peter Parker clone is dealing with the fact that he's a clone. And he's now thinking that he's not worthy. He's less than because he is a clone, even though he's about to have a kid with Mary Jane. So clone Peter is married to Mary Jane, or engaged to Mary Jane, and they're pregnant. And then Ben Reilly, aka real Peter, is now struggling with the fact that he's actually the real Peter. And he kind of felt it the whole time, and he has a little bit of resentment at the end. You kind of feel it and you tell it. But the two of them work together. They beat the Jackal. Gwen Stacy kind of comes in. She's almost about to try to kill the Jackal because she was pissed at him. At first, the clone Peter and Gwen were going to try to go to Jackal to actually maybe get some answers from him. But that didn't really work out. That didn't end up happening. There's this character here called Spider-Side. So this was the 6th one. Again, so this was the 6th, the final of the series. It's been forever and a day since I read the actual series, so I can't tell you all the details of the Clone Saga. And freestyle podcasting, I only do so much Googling and research for this thing, aka none. This is all nerd knowledge off the dome. And from reading this 5 times. Which, by the way, great artwork. Oh, one thing that I really do love, this is your randomness coming, is another thing that they used to do that was super fun, aside from all the foil covers and everything like that, was a vertical layout. So you'd get through about halfway through, and they had almost a centerfold layout. It was super cool. It was fun. So Spider-Side, he's basically this beast up version of, a Spider-Man clone. He's evil, but then he kind of works for whichever evil person is going to benefit him. Jackal has this massive bomb that's going to go off. They disarm the bomb. Then Jackal gets killed. Basically, he's going to throw Gwen off the bridge or off the building and to recreate the whole, Gwen dying thing. One of the Spider-Man saves Gwen. The other one tries to save Jackal, but he can't quite get him. He's weak. He had a sprained ankle. He was a little weak with the grab, so he missed the grab, and Jackal falls to his doom. That then sets off a backup trigger for the bomb. So then the real Spider-Man grabs the bomb. He's like, you got a kid on the way. I'm going to get this bomb out of here. Swings all the way across the city, booking it fast as he can, doing what Spidey does. And then he throws it up in the air and saves the day. And then he's sitting there in his condo by himself, kind of resenting the fact that he is the real Peter Parker, sitting there thinking that he stole the glove of somebody that, but then just to find out that he stole his own glove back. So the Maximum Clonage series, and then actually at that time, the Peter Parker clone comes and visits real Peter. I'm trying to explain it less confusing, but clone comes to visit real, and it was like, hey, we need to talk. You should have this suit back. You should be Spider-Man. It's your heritage. And real is like, we need to have a talk about this, but it's not that simple. Well, we need to figure this out. Obviously, it ends up that Parker gets it back into the mix, and he becomes him, and Ben Reilly becomes Scarlet Spider, and that's how that ends up. So, in the Rough Draft of Randomness podcast, along with the 3 mystery books, the Spider-Man Maximum Clonage Omega, the Green Lantern 170, and Little Red Ronin number 3. I also like to throw in little tidbits about other comics that I'm reading, or some random comics. And this one, it was the comic of the year last year, basically. It's one of my ongoing series that I actually am continually reading, along with
Venom.
Yes, I just haven't read number 2 yet. I haven't got to it. I picked it up. It just came out this week. I'm recording it the week that this came out. I'm also recording it the week that Absolute Batman number 4 came out, which I just read. I'm waiting to get to it's a great story. It's great. So yes. So we got Absolute Batman 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this storyline is a completely kind of offshoot, different take of Batman than we've seen. If you're a nerd, you've heard about it. If you're a real nerd, you've read it. But they're taking, it's spoiler alert if anybody hasn't read Absolute Batman or seen anything about it, even though it's been basically everywhere on any Facebook group or online nerdery or email or anything. Like this was a top book. I'm pretty sure this was like the top selling book this last year, 2024. This one and like Ultimate Spider-Man 1 are like 2 of the top ranked books of 2024. So if you didn't read it, you're under a rock, and I don't care if you didn't hear it yet. It's badass. So basically, different story. Now, the mom is alive, Martha Wayne. Dad died at the tragic zoo accident that we still haven't got the full details of what happened yet. They keep leading to it. Basically, somebody murdered a bunch of people. This latest issue, number 4, they had him in court. It was a flashback between basically kind of his first year as Batman, figuring it out. Like, he had fake teeth for a little bit. They showed like he tried out fake teeth, fangs, like to be scary like a bat. He gave a really in-depth, like he was doing a research thing about bats. It was for the science fair thing. That's how they got to go to the zoo. They were at the zoo because he won the school's trip there. So the ultimate trip of not only is your dad dead, but he's ultimately dead because you won a trip to the zoo. It was the best day of his life, he basically is explaining, which turned into the worst. Which basically then molded him. He explains all the cool things about bats. They're adaptable. They have strength. But previous issues, we have Batman. He has this big, bulky logo now, which actually turns out puts a staff to it, and it's a freaking like axe that he uses to cut some dude's hand off in the first issue. It's a little bit more brutal, a little bit bloodier. Alfred ain't his butler. He's some agent who's working for some agency that we don't quite know, and they just want them to observe. They just want Alfred to observe this basically crazy rioting group called the Party Animals that are killing everything and everybody in sight, legitimately everything and everybody, women, children, everything. So Batman's trying to battle them back, and then also in this latest issue, they're trying to make a bargain apparently with Batman now. And they're offering him basically millions to back off for a week. And just to think of how much that could help the Batman become the Batman. And Bruce said, I'm in. So we'll see what issue 5 has in store. That one I might report back. if I remember. We're a random podcast. Me, myself, I am
Venom.
So, if you liked what you saw, leave a comment, give a thumbs up. Until